What is your most ridiculous, we won't work out romantically criteria? What is the silliest reason you would not be interested in dating someone?
I didn't know this about myself until it happened. I went on a date with a gorgeous girl. She seemed very nervous at first, but the conversation was quite natural, and it was going well. Then she laughed, and it was like someone was assaulting a donkey. Everyone nearby jumped in surprise. I found myself trying to avoid being funny because she kept laughing, and it was awful. We never went out again.
When my wife hiccups, she kind of screeches like a velociraptor, and I freaking love it. It's very different and unique, but I think it's great, even though I'm apparently the first person in her life to not be annoyed by it, haha. But there was one time during COVID when I matched with a woman, and we did a video call date for the first one, and I discovered she literally sounded like Fran Drescher in The Nanny in both voice and laugh. It was a complete and instant turnoff for me. But I continued the call for 30 minutes so as not to be rude, lol. Someone with a really long pointed nail only on 1 or 2 fingers. I met a nice guy a few years ago. He had this one long pointed nail on one little finger. Whenever we were talking, I kept looking at that fingernail. I know it's silly, but it irritated me so much.
Someone I used to work with met a really cool guy, good-looking, intelligent, and a talented musician who worked in music education with underprivileged kids. She couldn't date him because he has too many things in his pockets. I worked with a woman who wasn't going to marry her boyfriend because his apartment and car weren't valuable enough. She knew the value of his apartment because she was renting in the same complex as him. She took public transportation because she couldn't afford a car.
My ex-fiancée told me she didn't find me attractive anymore because I drink warm drinks, tea once every few days. Anyway, I'm married now and can drink all the warm drinks in the world if I want to. ETA, she was not Mormon.
She never laughed at anything, no matter what it was. My jokes, stand-up, films, anything she saw. She'd just say, funny, so deadpan.
Like Mandy Moore's character in Scrubs, JD?
No sense of whimsy or being silly. Yes, I know snow makes transport harder and going to work is even more annoying, but for goodness sake, it won't kill you to enjoy it for a few minutes and be playful. No, cartoons aren't just for children. This sort of thing. Edit. As some people lack nuance and common sense, it seems I have to clarify. Having whimsy or being silly isn't exclusively tied to enjoying snow or cartoons. There are different types of whimsy and silliness. I was just offering an example. Also, the miserable responses just prove my point. You don't have to enjoy snow. But if you are so miserable as to take issue with other people enjoying it, then it's definitely a deal breaker.
Chewing loudly with mouth open and/or smacking lips. You gotta like cats. I'm not gonna lie, it seems silly, but it's a strange limit for me. I rarely find people who dislike cats that aren't a control freak or something.
A former friend of mine rejected a wonderful, kind, caring, and intelligent man because his teeth were not perfectly straight but a little bit crooked. Then she proceeds to complain and whine to me about how she can't find anyone, that men suck, and so on. She's always been like this, always nitpicking every single man who has ever shown interest in her. But this case was the last straw. That's why we're not friends anymore. Just want to add that the kicker was she really, really liked this guy. But she simply could not get over his teeth. I just don't get it. Oh, and for the record, no, the guy had impeccable mouth hygiene as far as I could see and smell. In fact, I didn't even notice that his teeth were slightly crooked until she pointed it out.
Indecisiveness kills the vibe for me. Taking ages to pick their food, second-guessing decisions, overall not daring to be a person.
Has that thing where they don't like the taste of cilantro.
An outie belly button would be a no from me. I just can't. I'm sorry, but I can't.
If they don't appreciate the small things. Me, that's such a pretty tree. Them, it's just a tree. Me, bye. A girl I worked with was chasing me in a big way. I used to be almost completely oblivious to flirtation, but she made the flirtation obvious. She'd contrived to squeeze by me through doorways and press against me a few times per shift. And she was attractive enough that my little head had different ideas from my big one. But it drove me up the wall that she'd used weird slang like cray-cray and whatevs. Looties, absolutely. Made me very conscious of the fact that despite our age gap being only a few years, I felt like I was much more of an adult. The annoying thing was that she was the daughter of the manager's cousin. When I told her I didn't think we should be more than friends, I was fired a week later over bogus reason. If she proudly says she doesn't read, I don't care if reading is a pastime of hers or not, but a lot of people seem proud that they don't read, and I find that off-putting.
If they don't like to stay up late, I don't want to spend forever annoying someone by being up later than them.
I don't mind if they do or don't, but we're not required to match sleeping schedules. You can go to bed early. You can get up early. I don't need to do that perfectly in sync with you. I sometimes stay up late or even stay up the whole night. I get a lot done in that time, mostly because nobody else is around, and I don't disturb anyone. And my previous partners have understood this. They get up early and do their things. I stay up late and do my things, and yet we still overlap for much of the day. But I would hate those people who either wake others up all the time or think that you have to spend every waking moment with them or them with you, and then get annoyed that you want to stay in bed while they want to get up.
I once lost interest in a guy because I saw him ironing his socks. The chasm was too great, even if he did look like Wes Bentley and Johnny Knoxville's love child.
One time we were going out, not even anywhere where he would have needed to iron his clothes, like we aren't the type of people to do super fancy stuff. I can't remember where though, and as I finished getting ready, I walked into the room my boyfriend was in and caught him ironing his shirt and pants. Was instantly like, yeah, I'm going to marry this guy, because that's such a weirdly specific thing to have an attention to detail over. Like, I don't think I've ever ironed anything in my life, but realizing just how normal he was, I was like, what the heck?
They can't appreciate and respect tranquility. If we are on a dock and the sunset is shining off the surface of the water and we can hear the gentle waves, moist, calm breeze, just give it a moment. Take this in for at least 5 minutes. Walking through a forest, looking up at the canopy as a windfall comes through, just enjoy that smell. We don't need to talk. Picnic by a river, water flowing, trees rustling, falling leaves, the smell of water, no need for the phone. Hearing the breeze in the trees is amazing. People who rely on AI summaries for important and serious topics and don't bother checking sources. I refuse to trust AI and have genuinely had to explain to instructors to verify any information they get through it. I've heard some genuine nonsense since AI became a thing. I agree here. That's not ridiculous at all. I'm in the process of getting divorced, and at a certain point at the end of the relationship, every effort at communication on my part was getting twisted, misinterpreted, or misremembered, and I was in a constant state of second-guessing myself and starting to feel like I might actually be losing my mind, so I started saying that we needed to have every major discussion in written form so that we could get to the bottom of what was happening. She put my responses into ChatGPT and told me that it said she should get away from me and that ChatGPT said I was a sociopath and a narcissist. After 15 years together, it might not have been the most insulting thing she said or did, but it was the last straw. I once went on a date with a girl who told me she doesn't eat vegetables. Completely lost interest in her after that.
Being a poor speller. Knowing the difference between your and your is not critical for a relationship. But if I got a text message regularly with the wrong one, my vagina would dry up. I don't correct my friends' texts or anything like that, because informal communication doesn't matter if the recipient understands. It would turn me off a sexual partner, though.
Won't have a candlelight dinner with me? I brought candles and all on a late-night picnic we planned. Anyone with the same name as a family member or close friend.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It really helps. Subscribe for more, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one.